Welcome back to Beast Machines Monday. He's your host,
Decepticon Doug.
and I'm your other host,
Predacon Paul.
and this episode's called Prometheus Nights!
Prometheus Nights?
Prometheus?
But yeah, Prometheus
Either way,
Unbound.
343 shit the bed.
Yeah, he's talking about Halo stuff again. So, nice of you to roll out of bed to join us today.
I was tired. What, I can't do this episode in my bra?
I mean, it's just getting me a little hot and heavy, that's all.
Okay, well, I mean,
That's,
will it make you feel better? Maybe we should...
yeah, let's get into the proper attire.
Alright. It's Morphin' time!
Star Fox 64!
Turok 2! We're back! We're ready to morph into action!
2, working together to fight evil!
Alright, better?
Yeah.
Okay. Neil.
Oh,
Decepticon Doug.
that's me.
Predacon Paul. That's the other me.
As you see, we now have proper viral uniforms.
Yes, we are now ABCs. Okay, today's episode is called Prometheus
Unbound.
That's the one, yes. The bound Prometheus that's no longer handcuffed.
They got words that mean stuff.
And it's really cool. This episode starts with our newest best friend who has been around this whole time. And you remember that one time that Wolfface was like, "Hey, you're my friend," and Starscream or whatever his name was, Ice Cream,
Ice Cream.
was like, "Hey, you're my best friend too." And he's like, "Thanks, you're like a father to me." And they were like, he could have killed both of us with that crazy stuff. But damn it, you're the best darn partner I've ever had. And then he turned into a giant lizard monster and ran away.
Yeah, the thing that happened in the last episode.
That was all this episode.
So now, Nightscream is
Nightscream, that's his name.
Nightscream is like, oh man, I miss my new best friend, and you guys just keep not getting it.
He is complicated, like me.
And Ratchet's like, the only thing complicated about these two is that they're both ugly. Hey! Hey-oh! What's been happening over the last few nights, the werewolf man, Noble. He's been going all woo, trying to get into Megatron's citadel.
So it's been happening for the last 5 nights, and he left again this night.
And he's going bang, bang, bang on the door. And they're like, but why? Noble, what is this all about? And he's like, I just don't know. I'm compelled to come here.
And bang on these walls.
And sometimes I'll turn into this monster creature.
That I can't control, because it's the beast within. It's a wrath of some sorts, kind of like a lizard that flies and breathes fire.
Kind of like,
I don't know, just
thunder lizard.
Yeah, so he has to enter some sort of rageful state with this thunder lizard. Yeah, but we don't know why.
It's impossible to know. They're talking about going in, and Optimus is like, you know what we should probably do? We should go inside because we got to find those sparks. There's tons of missing sparks. We should find them. I looked under my shoe, and there were none there. And I looked
under the bed?
Yeah, and
Wasn't there either?
I wanted to see if I left one in the fridge. I did not.
But there was some Sunny D there, which was great. Mm-hmm. It's very refreshing.
Yes, much better than the purple stuff.
Or the OJ.
Or the
soda.
Soda, yeah. Now that Optimus is down some Sunny D and is now hopped up on sugar, let's go find the nanners. And then Cheetor's like, Optimus, you mean the sparks, right? He's like, yes.
Yes.
Yes, the sparks.
Sparks.
Well, if we found bananas on the way to the sparks, like that's okay, right? Oh yeah. Optimus is like, now, Noble, we love you and everything. Apart from the fact that you go bonkers every night trying to escape.
And howls at the moon.
We're gonna go in this one without you. You and Ice Cream.
Because you're too unpredictable. We can't trust that you won't inadvertently put us in danger because of your more savage nature.
And he's like, okay. There's just this feeling inside of me. I'm just trying to figure out who I am. And Ice Cream is like, and you guys gave me the chance to do that too. And so we should let him have the chance.
He's pulling a Silverbolt. I was a Predacon too.
But just like with Silverbolt, they're not exactly equivalent things. So Optimus puts his foot down. He's like, I appreciate you, but I really just don't want you to kill us. So let us do this. You just go, and then they walk away, and then Optimus gets R2-D2 to open the door.
Doesn't he say "weep boop weep"?
Yeah, and
Mew, 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 right?
Rat Trap, would you do the honors?
I never doubted you for a second.
And then right before he goes in, he goes.
That was pretty scary.
Yeah, but Optimus is like, hold on, R2, and he throws a rock in there. It was a rock, right?
Yeah, it was a rock.
Yeah, you know, one of those Cybertronian rocks that are always around.
A perfectly clean driveway, and there's just a rock.
There's always one when you need it.
Yep.
And then he throws them in. It explodes because it's a force field. Shoots the panel, yeah. So it goes kaboom. The panel explodes. Force field goes down. And then Noble is like...
Wouldn't the controls for the force field be better suited on the other side so it can't be shot and blown up?
Yes, it would. That would make a lot of sense, actually, now that you mention it. Like, if I were to build a citadel and have a security system, I would probably want the panels for the security system to be on the inside of it.
Yeah, so that the way the impenetrable force field that kills anything it touches is protecting the control that powers and controls the impenetrable force field that kills anything that it touches. I'm just saying.
Just saying. Anyways, this gets Noble's attention. He turns around, he goes,
Explosions?
and he makes a run for it as the doors start closing behind the Maximals.
Very slowly.
Just slowly enough. They are closing at the perfect dramatic speed so everyone can actually get in. And so then now they're all in there, and Optimus is like, don't you understand what no means?
Ice Cream also chases him.
That's true. Yes, Ice Cream got in as well. I like if we just started to call him Ice Cream. Optimus is like, okay, well, I guess now we have no choice. If you're gonna stay with us, just be careful because there's traps. Basically, right after Optimus is like, be careful, Savage kind of goes nutty.
He's like, oh no.
He just starts running and starts...
There's a bunch of things on the ground.
like a billion of them.
And he's like, oh no, Megatron has put out Lego pieces. And then he steps on it and he's like, oh,
Oh, it hurts so much. Oh, I hate stepping on Lego pieces. And then it sets up a bunch of mines that come up.
And they've got triple lines.
Now this is the perfect time for me to transform into Savage, the big angry red salamander. And he does. It goes... blah, 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 blah.
But he starts like with his tail. And then all of a sudden, the mines explode.
Explode!
Holy crap.
And they do exactly what mines are designed to do. They put the Maximals to sleep for 5 minutes.
Not even. They're like smoke bombs.
And the Maximal's like, oh no, we were asleep for 5 minutes. Those are some dangerous mines that Megatron set up.
So then the Maximals wake up, literally no worse than they were before they got blown up.
Yeah. If anything, got a little dust on them. Which, you know, might be bad for Cheetor's allergies. So...
Well, lucky he's got those fans that he could just blow it all away.
So they decide to go separate ways in teams to try and find Savage plus the Sparks. You know, divide and figure things out.
Meanwhile, they're being stalked by something noble, something savage, something that's not revealed yet. But we can see its hand and clearly see that it's blue.
And we can see that it has his face as well.
And then he's got his face.
So they're being stalked by Noble.
Yeah. So then Savage is like, I'm in the throne room. There it is.
He sees Megatron's
Arms.
plugs, his arms and his head plugs. Well, I want to go to it.
The ground starts to give way.
And,
And he's like, oh
yeah.
crap, I didn't plan for this. And he's hanging for his life because he's about to fall. Gravity's about to take him. Night Scream and Optimus are like, not on my watch. And they jump down to save him.
Then right after that, the other team of Black Arachne and Cheetor and Rat Trap show up. They also want to go to Megatron's pluggy plugs. They jump and stuff. Except Rat Trap, he kind of has to wheel his way there. But he's got a plan where Cheetor grabs him and throws him. But there's one thing. You should never toss a dwarf.
No.
But this time Rat Trap's like, okay, you have to toss me. But don't tell anybody. So anyways, they toss Rat Trap. He plugs himself into Megatron's beepity boop things, and he's like, okay, there's a bunch of things that are encrypted, including the encryptions, which have encryptions, and the encryptions have encryptions, and don't forget the encryptions on the encryptions. I'm trying to tell you that I can't get into anything fast.
I don't even see the code. All I see is blonde, brunette, redhead.
Optimus, Nightscream, and Noble they finally get up after they fell down. They're like, that was a really long way down. That was very, very far. For something, Noble is very, like, protective over the headgear. And he's like, wait.
Get away from that, you fiend.
He goes all savage. And then Ice Cream was like, wait, you can control it?
That is impossible. Unpossible. Not possible. Improbable. Unlikely.
We've determined...
How did you come to that conclusion?
We talked about it earlier, that it would be impossible for him to do this thing or this thing. Because we understand the rules of this strange creature that we've never known anything like it before. Indeed, it turns out it is possible.
It is, apparently.
Because it happened. Rat Trap gets knocked out of the thing. Noble tries to plug himself in. He's like, but I can't because I'm a flesherson.
I'm a fleshy bot. No.
No fleshy bots.
And he's like, oh, I know. Those spark extractors that everybody was dodging 5 minutes ago that we were talking about.
We forgot to mention that part, but it happened.
I'm going to grab these things and stab myself.
We all know that this was Rhinox's true legacy. That Noble grabs them and brings on the nipple tassels.
Oh, no.
And
there's the tassels.
grabs the old nipple tassels and attaches them so hard it yanks a spark out of his chest. The spark flies into the cords and goes up, and the Maximals are like, well, that's strange.
And then it goes flying into the helmet, and then it like gets absorbed into the Megatron arm chassis thing.
Yeah.
And then it goes up, and then out of the building, and into the giant Megatron head thing.
Then the Maximals come out of the Citadel, because getting out is a lot quicker than getting in. The giant floating head is like, guess what, Maximals? Eat it! And he flips Nightscream off.
Because he doesn't have any fingers.
No fingers, but he did it with his eyes. He's very expressive. Nightscream's like, but you are my friend!
My best friend!
To be your friend! And Megatron's like, ha 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 ha! I don't have friends! Megatron is like, I used you. No. Oh, by the way, I'm going to reactivate all my troops. Because now that instead of being wired to everything, he's actually just installed wireless Wi-Fi, and now he can connect all the troops without the cords.
Back before Wi-Fi was even a thing.
But one thing Megatron is super pleased about is officially his beast form is gone. No more beast. He is unbeasted the beast. There's no beasties.
So he's just bot.
He's just bot.
The action's hot.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you can have much action when you're a giant floating head. So anyways, the Maximals retreat because they're surrounded, and we know that for a fact they cannot destroy Viacons. They're really bad at it. And then they go back to their base, and then Ratchet's like, you know, kid.
And he's like, let me guess, I told you so. He's like, I kinda did.
Moron. And then, that's it. oh wait, except it goes up to Noble, the body that is now a lifeless husk. Or is it? Eyes open! And that's it.
All right, Mr. Decepticon Doug, do you have anything nice to say about this episode?
I do, actually. I got some nice things to say.
Let me hear some of these nice things that you have to say about this episode that we just described in perfect detail.
So one of the big flaws of the previous two episodes that we had watched is that there was a lot of repeating. You know, like they didn't have enough story for each episode, so they just kind of went through emotions. Then they had to like do the same motions, and that didn't happen this time. I don't know if this is a pro or so much as like just putting it to neutral, that they didn't screw up the way they did the last couple episodes. So at least the story moves. I feel like this is the most like pathetic compliment ever, is that the story progresses.
And that ain't nothing. Okay?
Beyond that, I thought David Kaye does a very good job, and that includes from the last episode, is that he's pretty good at disguising his voice. When he's playing Noble, there's hints of Megatron, but it's subtle, and he transitions from Noble into Megatron quite nicely. Like you can just tell he's got a good sense of
humor.
I mean, probably, but he's just got a good sense of his craft of how to take his voice and just kind of work within the frame of like getting it from this voice print to this voice print, and you see it move there.
You could see, like, especially when he, like, links up to the system, he's like, yes.
So
Get away from that. You can really hear it there, too.
yeah, so there's a lot of cool stuff that he does with his performance that I think should be commended.
Hey, Dave, good work.
See?
Hey, you get the stamp of approval from us, and that means more than anything.
Yeah. Well, what did you like? I'll think of something as we're talking.
I love how the stakes were just so high, and that the Maximals were in very real, tangible danger. I was like, oh no, those are landmines.
Yes. I think we're transitioning into what didn't work. But yeah, you know, I gotta admit, the landmine scene is particularly ridiculous because we should be getting a sense of how dangerous the booby traps are. We've been told by them that this is very dangerous, and there's supposed to be some tension from Noble rampaging through everything, but the payoff is nothing because the landmines explode, and then there's no consequences.
No, none at all. We didn't even get a chance to get to know Noble, and then they went and built this entire story about this attachment that Night Scream has with Noble, and I get it. I know what you're trying to do. But you rushed it, man. You didn't give us time to even get to know them or to even build that relationship.
If they introduced Noble maybe in the first episode of the season, I mean, maybe that would have given it away that it was Megatron, but I feel like it was kind of given away already. They talked about things that they did with Noble, about how he's been doing certain things for a certain amount of days, and then Optimus has been trying to train him to tame the beast within. If we had seen more of that, and I have an episode of that kind of stuff, maybe we could have felt more of an attachment to him, but as it is, we meet him.
What if the threat was Noble the whole time, and he was like, and they had to restrain him without hurting him, and they themselves getting hurt too, and their base was, let's say, destroyed or something because he's a powerful salamander thing.
Yeah.
What if they found some more survivors, kind of like Night Scream, and Noble was a threat to them because he would like transform, or they would see him and they didn't trust him, and then he twitched the wrong way or whatever. I don't know. But at least build on that idea that they're still there trying to help this guy, as opposed to having this off-screen relationship with all these things happening that they just tell us about. When the reveal is that it's Megatron the whole time. When it happened, I knew it was Megatron. His salamander form looks exactly like that, just less polished.
You know, actually, that does actually make me think of another thing I did like, though. So although, obviously, we figured out Noble was Megatron, because it wasn't that hard. The salamander does look a lot like we could probably say the word now, a bit of a dragon.
Ooh.
You know, it was the dragon's wrath the whole time. I do still kind of like the reveal that it is Megatron. That he pulled the spark out, and then it was released and went into the head. I thought that was kind of cool, but particularly what I liked about it was that Megatron was just playing Night Scream as a fool the whole time. He was conscious in the Noble body, and he was manipulating Night Scream and the other Maximals to get him where he needed to be. Was it handled perfectly? No, but I do like that reveal.
Yeah. I mean, we were just talking about this earlier today. Dinobot comes out and he's like, I've got a hostage, maha. Not understanding Megatron's nature at all, and he just blasts him. So you do. Goodbye, Tarantulas. And then there's Megatron on the flip side, appears vulnerable and helpless, and completely understanding Optimus and the Maximals, plays them like a fiddle. A fiddle he's been playing for 10 years.
And it's a real, like, spit in the Maximals' faces because of the fact that, you know, usually their compassion is their strength. But this time it was a weakness, and it brought back their greatest foe.
Well, I mean, evil triumphs because good is...
Because good is dumb.
I've heard this is true.
I'm really struggling here to find something that I did like about this episode. Oh, the battle scene. I did kind of like how they didn't just go with the flashy whoosh initiative that we had. And thank God that they retroactively went back in time and watched our review of those episodes and then made the necessary changes so that way we could enjoy it.
Yeah.
Good job, Mainframe. So yeah, I did like that.
Yeah.
I guess seeing that there's a deeper layer to Night Scream because he's still dealing with like that survivor's guilt. So much so that he was willing to sacrifice everything for this one creature who wasn't fully aware of who he was.
Yeah, he was at odds with his other teammates because he just really wanted someone to connect with.
Because he can't connect with the Maximals because the Maximals are heroes. They're established characters. They've got an entire series.
Yeah,
right?
he watched Beast Wars before they landed on Cybertron. Yeah. He's like, damn, it's a good show.
Wow. And then, he's got to try to measure up to that. Mm-hmm. That's not relatable to him. He, in his mind, was a coward because he ran away and fell down a big hole.
They didn't experience the same loss that he did. Or I mean, they did because, Cybertron was their home. They weren't really there when it fell. They didn't see atrocities as they were happening.
You got to think about it from Maximal's perspective. They were on Earth for 7 years. No, wait. How many seasons is Beast Wars?
It's 3, but I think it's more than 3 years, I imagine.
Okay, so 3 years is more than enough time. Wow, it's only 3 seasons? Is more than enough time to really build like a good family dynamic relationship. Your own little community. The Maximals, at the very least, when they get to Cybertron and it's no longer the Cybertron that they knew, they still have each other. They still have that community that they built on Earth during the Beast Wars. Mm-hmm. Night Scream doesn't have that. And so to see him struggle to fit in, I think that is really, that really works for his character. It adds a nice bit of tension and conflict there without seeming like it's shoehorned in. They rushed the Noble relationship because we didn't get to see that sort of develop. But I can see what they were doing with Night Scream in it, and I really like that. Because how could the Maximals understand his pain? He watched his whole family die, and then he gets taken in by these guys. Great, he's not alone anymore, but these guys are family, and he's alone, so he's the odd one out. That'd be very difficult for somebody, especially considering he's also, comparatively, I would say he's probably in his teens. He's probably a teenager.
Yeah.
Compared to the older, more established,
older
generation, I guess.
Even Cheetor, he was the young blood of Beast Wars. He's all grown up now, right?
You mean like this?
That's just not the role he's in anymore.
What we need is a Night Scream Cheetor episode.
Couldn't hurt.
Because Cheetor, if he wanted to go after Night Scream, there isn't a darn thing anyone else could do to catch him.
That's one of the nice things about Beast Wars versus Beast Machines, is that Beast Wars had season 1 to just do stuff like that, to just do all the character work. And then season 2 and season 3 did, it really moved the story along. And with Beast Machines, it's all just moving the story along. And we, unfortunately, with the 13 episodes per season, I feel like we are missing some of those nice, just plain old character episodes. Let's talk about what we didn't like. Well, I guess we did a little bit already.
Like we said, some things that we enjoyed, but this story just seemed like an excuse to get Megatron back. They wrote themselves into a corner and they're like, and here's a new character. Oh, but it's Megatron. And he's back in the head, and the Viacons are back too. And but where's the other guys? The generals.
They were wasted by Savage last time, and I don't know where they went after that. But I'm sure we'll see them again soon enough. I can't remember
because they're nowhere to be seen.
That's a good point. Is that I feel like at the end of it, it kind of feels like returning to the status quo, except that there's no more dragon in Megatron. He's just a floating head. It would have been interesting if there was something like a more emotional payoff for the Noble Savage story. But as it is, because it doesn't feel like that fulfilling, it kind of just makes you wonder why couldn't we just have it so in the first episode, Megatron's consciousness is put into the head? Why did we have to go through that whole song and dance that amounted to basically nothing to get where we wanted to go? Why didn't we just go there?
It didn't make any sense. You've got all this stuff that happened off screen, and then Megatron's spark goes into the head. So, what was the point?
Yeah, I think there was supposed to be, especially for Night Scream, this really emotional arc, but it was just too fast and...
We didn't get to see it develop.
Yeah, if they just paced it differently, maybe it could have worked. Otherwise, I would just maybe skip the whole Noble Savage thing and altogether. Because clearly you wanted to get Megatron back in the game. Why waste the time?
Is this going to ultimately lead to something? I don't know.
It did show that Noble was still alive. I have seen Beast Machines, but it's been a long time. I don't remember how that pays off.
I don't want to be too overly critical with... I don't hate it. Here, that's the problem, is I don't really feel anything for it. After the episode, we were just sort of like, well, that happened.
Yeah.
That's not the first time we've had that reaction to an episode.
So we are going to give Prometheus Unbound 2.5 out of 5 atomic Cybertronian rocks.
Poof.
It's a story that's going somewhere, but we don't feel it's working on its own just yet.
There's things in there that we do like
Nuggets.
that we think need some more exploring.
But we're kind of hoping for more. Thank you so much for watching Beast Machines Monday. We want to hear from you. If you liked Prometheus Unbound or any of the other episodes we've covered in this series, tell us in the comments down below.
And as always, tell your mom. Back before Wi-Fi was even a thing.
This is when it was why not?
I don't get it.
I don't get it either. Doug cut that out.